Guys, we are live once again.
Beautiful Thursday night. I got my days right.
You did. It's Thursday.
I've got my days right because we've got a pretty awesome guest.
How about this guy? How about this guy coming on tonight, huh?
Oh, this guy.
He is already starting.
We've been excited.
Already starting.
We've been excited to get this guy on, man. This is my mentor in the industry right here, dude. This guy taught me the ropes inside that ring, man. This good people right here.
He knows a couple things.
He knows one or two things. One or two people.
Yeah, it seems like it. It definitely seems like it. I'm excited about this. And he's got some cool stuff
tonight.
He's got some cool stuff hanging up in his office too. I want to touch on. That stuff interests me.
Yeah,
interests me a lot. Yeah, for somebody who never really hunts, I'm so interested in the sport. I got to get into it. I've done like dove hunting, like small.
You're wearing camo and you don't hunt.
Just don't get into bow hunting with him. If for some reason it just don't work out.
I'm sure there's a story behind that, man.
Oh, there's a lot of stories, not just.
Hopefully we hear about it.
Before we get started going into things, we're going to put something across the bottom real quick.
Oh, yeah.
There's just a few days left before Father's Day, right? And you want to get your stuff situated. If you've got a man, a father, somebody in your life that you want to smell good, get them to Sudsy Bear and use promo code SudsyDads30. Save 30% off, and you are going to get some of the best soap that if not the best soap that I've ever literally encountered. I've got some of it right here.
He always has a bar of Sudsy Bear soap.
Dude, I do. I always have.
Dave keeps it in his car or in his truck.
Hey, I know what I'm getting in my stocking from him at least.
This one, right? This one right here is the Old Forest Pine Tar. It is money, and I just saw Paul come in back on screen, and Dave, I don't know if you could see this, but he's got something special prepared for us.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited about that.
I can only imagine, dude. My boy is just ruthless, man. I mean, he's straight to the throat, dude. There's no sugarcoating it. It's straight to the throat, dude. I'm talking jugular, done, finished.
It is
like Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
Well, and see, the big thing is for me, I'm a big fan of what he does and how he does it. He's very maniacal and cynical in a lot of different ways, and he has a lot of fun with it. So,
Hell yeah! That's right.
Yeah. Oh man!
I am so glad you put that on. You were like, "Give me 2 minutes." I was like, "Oh, great!" You got to go to the bathroom.
If I would have known ahead of time, I would have grabbed 2 cans and just boom, just put it right down, and off they would have gone.
That is awesome.
Come on, I can't disappoint. I saw that. I'm like, it's all good. I am game on with this one. If that's how we're going to start it, that's fine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know how we do, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know
how we do.
I mean, you got Stone Cold, and we have a Marvel superhero over there in the bottom right because you've got Andrew Smash.
Oh man!
Oh god!
Oh man!
See, you guys, Dave made the mistake of saying "be ready." I'm like, all right, let's go.
Oh no! Hey, look, I'm just letting you know. Hey, I ain't computer savvy.
No. When the computer comes on, it says press any key. Dave stands there for a while and goes, "Where's the any key?"
And I told Andrew, I was like, "Look, dude, you're done. You're done." He's like, "What's the worst that could happen?" And I said, "Exactly what I'm putting on your stone."
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let me put on an appropriate shirt here. I can't sit here and do a webinar seriously while I'm wearing Stone Cold Steve Austin's stuff. So,
you
or in this
could.
case, Stone Cold Paul Mickley.
No, really, you can't. Because I can't stop laughing, dude.
No, I'm just mind boggled that at one point you had hair.
Curly hair.
Dude, I watched that intro
straight up
video like 7 times, like before this live feed. I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, you can't get the 3 of us together, man.
No. Oh yeah, that was that long curly hair. That was the whole. That was down past the shoulder blades once upon a time.
That was classic.
That was, an impressive hairdo.
That was priceless. That was
classic. So,
oh my goodness,
Paul, how you been, man? What's new with you?
Busy. Doing the electronic stint these days still. Selling GPSs, working with our boat dealers, working with our boat builders. GPSs, marine audio, charts. I mean, any gambit that has to do with fishing and on a boat and cruising around, electronics, that's the gig these days.
There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. So whereabouts are you working and what is the business called?
So the business is called CED Marine. So we're a wholesaler. We don't sell to consumers. But we deal directly with boat distributor or boat dealers, boat manufacturers, installers. So when you're going to, I don't know, Boaters Exchange which is up in Rockledge, or if you're running to any of your local installers, many of those guys, and they need to buy product, they're coming to us and they're saying, hey, I've got Joe here. Joe wants to upgrade a system to, the Garmin Panoptics, and that's what we carry. We sell, and then they install it, and Joe pretends on how to use it. So that's kind of what we do.
Nice.
it's true.
Very true, sadly.
Really cool. So
what are your thoughts on the Lowrance, man? We just had a guy on last week, and Navionics was, man, I'll tell you what, dude. That new live system, the 3-in-1, he was going on about that. It's got me all excited, man. I know you're a Lowrance guy, so how you feeling on that new one?
I'm an everything guy. I like it all. Everything has got its advantages. That's the thing. People will always say, hey, what's the best one? And it's really a question of what do you want it to do? If guys want to go offshore and they want an open array, or they want to look for birds, they need an open array. If they want to do side imaging and they're only, fishing in 200 feet of water, well, that doesn't make sense. If you're in 10 feet, it does. So the 3-in-1 is that transducer is, as it says, you've got sonar that's down, you've got side imaging, and then you have the down imaging, which is more of that, picture drawing, for lack of a better description. Then you have your active target. That's the one that shows the fish actually moving. Now, I haven't seen it in person yet. I know Garmin Panoptics was the first, and Lowrance has got theirs now. I've heard it's exceptionally good, but I haven't seen it in person. But I know there's a lot of uses. People are, getting up on docks and taking a look and seeing what's there. It hasn't caught on to saltwater yet. I did put a Simrad. I've got a Ray Marine on my boat now. I did put a Simrad on there because I do want to play with it. I want to run offshore, chum up some mangroves, and see how it works out there, and actually watch them come off the wreck. So I do intend to use it, but it's been a big hit in the bass world for guys that are just up on their trolling motor and, well, there's there's your bed and bluegills. Okay, I can look for bass. Let me look under the dock. Nah, too small. Move on. So that's been the deal. Those two have been for sure the hottest items so far this season.
Damn.
How do you feel about? Do you feel like it becomes too much advantage to the angler at a certain point?
It's getting more and more difficult, certainly for the fish, and it's getting a lot harder to know certain spots. Now that everybody has this technology, you can see 1 foot contours just about everywhere, but you still got to catch them. That's the thing. You still got to know, what to throw when, how to fish it, what depth you're going to fish, how long a leader, what leader, presentation, what time. There's still a lot to it. So the guys that are still good are going to catch fish, but it's definitely leveled the playing field a bit as far as technology. And you used to know where the snook were before outside an inlet. Now somebody just comes down by side and goes, hey, Dave, you're in the wrong spot. They're over there. So that's kind of what happens now.
Yeah, could you imagine back in the day when we were chasing those reds and stuff, man? You and Ozzy and me and the boys over here, just how especially some of those tournaments we fished around docks. that was like the bite, finding them.
It'd be crazy. Nope. Oh, that one's got them. Well, they even do that in the beaches down the Panhandle. I was in Biloxi last week. And they run the beach trolling spoons, and they go, oh, the redfish are over there. All of a sudden, you watch that boat make a hard right turn, because they spot the school, where if you have straight up and down, you're not even seeing it. But they spot that school, make a hard right turn, all of a sudden, boop, 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 all the rods are down because they saw them on the side imaging. And you can set that out to, do you want it to see 30 feet, 50 feet, 70 feet? Obviously, the further you go, the harder it is to read because, close up, that fish might be this big. Now you're there and you're going like this. So you've got to kind of get used to it first is my recommendation for anybody trying it. Start it at 30 feet, kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. Look at bridges, look at docks, figure out there's a fish. Actually, the one thing I'll tell you guys is the best thing I can tell anybody watching this is picture it as a flashlight on the bottom. This is how I describe it to people. If you lay on the bottom and you shine a flashlight and it hits a fish, that fish turns white. You hit a log, it becomes a shadow. There's no light behind the log. So you say, oh, there's the log. So picture it that way, and it's a lot easier to read, to try to understand it. But that, if you shine that light on the bottom and you see shadows and all of a sudden you can't see anything past it, well, that's probably a wall. Like when you hit the bridges, that piling goes all the way across your screen because the light can't go through it. It's blocked. Right. So picture it that way. That helps a lot of people understand what that
that's a good pointer. That's a really good pointer. I have to make sure to tell my buddy, I was talking to him about his new lives he got, and he was out in 23 foot of water out in Lake Placid, and he kept seeing the fish coming up and eating his bait and smacking his bait, and he couldn't get him hooked, and he come to realize that his gain was set too high to where he was actually targeting bluegill.
Oh my God.
That's some big damn bluegill though.
I was saying,
yeah.
Please tell me it wasn't DJ.
No.
Oh, thank goodness.
No. It was your new sponsor.
Oh shoot,
man. So you sent me some images, and I want to bring those in real quick because I'm going to zoom in here. Now, on these images, talk to me about what we're looking at. This is the first one you sent.
So one of my prior lives, I worked for Navionics. So one of the most important questions I always had was, how do I read this chart? What are these lines? What are these things, that I'm looking at? So I picked a few different images to kind of talk about, because to find fish, first you have to understand where the heck they live. And, you think about a desert and you find an oasis, well, that's where everything is. And this is kind of the same thing, whether it's fresh or saltwater. Where is that oasis? So this is the easiest one to look at. This one simply, if you look on your chart, it tells you where there's reefs. You got the little fish icons on this. There could be something else, somebody else might use something else, but the fish will tell you where the reefs, they label it. Then you've got that little box, that whole area. There could be rocks, there could be rubble. That's where you need to use your side imaging, your sonar, find other parts. And then if you have some live imaging, take a look and see if fish are moving or if they're held tight to the rocks. But this is the easiest thing to look if you're looking fresh or salt. It tells you where it is.
It's definitely liking those contours.
Yeah.
That's we have better ones yet. So go ahead to the next one there, Andrew, and I'll kind of run through these. So this one's a little bit of this one's way zoomed out, but I did this on purpose because this is a lake. This is actually up in Georgia. But if you look at that, you can see that defined two lines. It looks like a road. There you go, right on down. What that is the main lake channel. So when they flooded this, that used to be the river. So when you're looking for fish, especially, in summer months, like we're rolling up into, those fish are going to go down the edge of those channels because they're getting out of the sun, the water's cooler, and that's your main river channel. If you follow that and keep going down with that cursor, and Dave will probably agree with me if he doesn't, I'll run him down later. As you go around the corner, you can see where it gets closer to the shoreline. Now you've got a ledge and something pressing up against it with some current. Better opportunity for bass to sit there because now you have current, you've got a ledge, you've got the original channel, and you've got a feeding location for them.
You've got a spawning flat, certain times a year, things like that. Those fish will come out of that deeper, cooler water to move up to do their heeing and sheeing, whether it be the bass, whether it be the bluegill and brim. So it's definitely a good highway up through there, and you just look for those little nuances. And with the electronics we got these days, I mean, good Lord, man. Like Paul said, you can see those 1 foot differences. You can see the ditch, you can see a hole, you can see a point, a hump,
see the beds.
So
go to the next one there, Andrew.
Just nuts to me.
And this one here is, again, just like we saw the reefs earlier, here's a submerged bridge. So this was a bridge that used to be there, was then flooded. The bridge is now underwater, and there you see contours. So there's a little bit of a point. You watch that come out. As you see the lines, anywhere there's dark lines, that tells you the contours are tighter together. So it looks like a black magic marker. That means the tighter the lines, the more of a drop off there is. So now you've got structure, you've got a point, and you have a drop off. So now you kind of have all things like Dave was talking about. Those fish can live on that submerged bridge, come on out and get up on top of those humps, when it's early season, sit there, and then they run up on the flats, or the reverse in the other side. In the fall, this was always a spot I used to target in Georgia. So you've got, structure with contours makes it that much better. And that, I don't care if you're fresh or saltwater.
Yeah, no, that's
things combined. That is crucial to find really good spots.
Yeah, all the game fish, whether it be saltwater, freshwater, the predators, they're ambush predators, and something for them to sit, the ambush prey, is it, easier for them to eat. I mean, I look at that right there, and if I find something like that on the lake, I'm going to spend some time on it. I mean, it's going to be somewhere there.
Yeah, that looks like a really good spot that it'd be stacked up in.
So this is saying that it goes from 79 to 98. I'm assuming that's feet.
That's correct. So you're going 79 feet to 98. So that's a rise coming up. And we're going to talk about the value of rises here in a little bit.
Oh, boy.
No, Dave, it's not that.
All right.
I love it.
So you're telling me this bridge is 134 feet below the surface?
That is correct.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that's a very deep lake. That's off the Lake Lanier up in Georgia.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right, next one.
Yep.
All right, so this one's just a river bend. So I picked a river, and again, here's a bridge. That's not a sunken bridge, but you can see where that white is. The reason I picked that is that shows a hole. So you talk a lot about shading. On your modern plotters, you can talk about, well, I want to shade contours to 30 feet. So anything after 30 feet can be white. So much like Andrew's popping out right now on camera, this hole right now equals his clothing. So that's white. So we look at that. That's your deeper hole. So you can see at the top part of that is a steep ledge where it drops off. So again, this is one of those spots, depending on your species of fish, a lot of them will sit in those holes. You get a little bit of current coming down in this river. They'll sit in those holes like that and wait for the bait to come to them. Or if it's something feeding on the bottom, let's say you're fishing catfish, that's going to roll down to that hole and lay there. So that's another good kind of a neutral spot if they're further back or right up against that ledge where they're going to look and feed. But that's how you can use some of the color shading to highlight either lumps or highlight deeper holes. And in this case, it's the deepest part of that river.
Yeah, and that's something that I noticed on those units too, Paul, and you can help me with that because that's what you do is, the shading depths. I've found, like I have a hummingbird unit to where when I locate schools of fish or fish certain times a year, let's say they're from 15 to 18 foot, I can get on my unit, highlight that 15 to 18 foot, and my map will load up and it will highlight those areas that are the 15 to 18 foot. So it actually helps me break down a map instead of trying to figure out if that contour line is right, if it's too deep, too shallow, too high, too low, whatever. But that's something that most of these units have gone to. And that's kind of I guess a staple deal for all of them now these days.
Yeah, and one of the things that you mentioned, hummingbird, if you have a Lake Master chart in there, the Lake Master, especially right now, we haven't had a lot of rain here in Florida, which we need badly.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually offset that to say, hey, look, the lake is down 3 feet. Yeah. It'll drop it down 3 feet and change the entire view that you have. So now you're not up in something and, it's 5 feet. Well, it's actually only 2. So you can alter that lake offset with a Lake Master chart and be able to see current depths and current contours as well, and how that relates to a lack of rainfall or high rainfall.
Yeah.
That's really cool because, in all honesty, I mean, I'm sure to a certain extent, it can probably get dangerous if you're looking at a map mentally, not putting in that handicap for the rise or increase.
Run up on a bar or something.
Okeechobee right there. Perfect example.
Right.
Especially new boaters. If you're not familiar with where you're going, you really need to get a better chart than what's in that unit. So you've got something up to date and you can drive safely, because it's not everything looks nice and deep and clear and I can run wherever the hell I want, but it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Dave, that little bar right there off of Arbuckle Creek on Poga?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. So many guys, Paul, freaking just eat it right there, dude. They have no clue.
Yep.
Nope.
They have no
Everybody runs out through those pads, and everybody runs out in the lake and then takes a right. And people
then they stop there.
I'm going to beat them to the hole and hang a hard right, and they're stuck.
Yeah.
All right, hop to our next one there, Andrew. I think we got 2 more, I believe.
Yep.
So again, here's another, or maybe 3. Here's another river bend. I'll make this one quick because this is kind of the same as before. So with a river bend, you see towards the top in the middle there's a 19-foot hole. And if we go down, you see 20. Now, where this becomes important is you've got current running down rivers. And similar to what we talked about with the hole, those fish are going to stage in those holes for where the current brings them more oxygen and brings more bait to them. You also see the ledge along the side. Again, that's a great spot for fish to lay up against the side of that as an ambush point. And that's that thick area that looks like that black magic marker. That's showing a ledge. So if you're anchoring up in there, if this is saltwater, you might want to fish this for black drum, or if this was deep offshore, it'd be a grouper hole. But bass, certainly in the river systems and that water is moving, this is where they're going to lay up, especially you get some weeds. And Dave, I know you love punching. You get some weeds along top of that deep water right there.
That and also I'm seeing that, because like you said on that map, you can actually see where there's going to be current because of how it pinches down there.
Yeah.
And when you have current in the lakes, 9 out of 10 times there is going to be some kind of mussels, clams, shell of some sort there, in which they'll make a bed, which that is another fish attractant. The bait fish will be there to eat on the mussels and the clams and stuff like that, and the predators will be right behind them. So in my opinion, I'm looking at this, and if there's some grass topped out, there's none of that in Florida anymore. But if I'm looking at this now, I'm thinking a shell bed, and trying to find that shell bed right through there because, man, that current, boy, it could be right.
Yep.
That's awesome.
All right, we're jumping to saltwater, a little more offshore here. So we talked about lumps. So this is a popular lump actually off Stewart called Push Button Hill. If you've got a fishing chart, it'll show up. If it's navigation, it won't. But this right here is actually out in about 330 feet of water. That current is running south to north. So where that point comes in, you're getting a big upwell. Now, I mentioned we talk more about humps in a little bit. This is the exact example. With that current of the Gulf Stream hitting that, it causes a big upwelling. So what does that mean? So that means you've got deep water hitting a ledge, cutting bait, whatever's on the bottom, shifting it up on top of the hill. You've got ledges for fish to hide under, and you've got a point where bait gets pushed around. So anytime there's a current break, you can have weeds that could stack up against the side of that. You could have bait that gets pushed up. You can have fish laying under there. So this is one of those oases in the desert where you find one of these lumps, and this triggers a current change. It's where bait is, and where there's bait, there's bigger fish and bigger fish and bigger fish. So this is real important when you see these things offshore. These are hot spots. I don't care if you're trolling, if you're bottom fishing, this type of structure is crucial when you're out there because this does create a structure for fish to key on.
So when you're out there, you being the saltwater, experienced saltwater guy, I mean, done everything, your stuff offshore. When you're finding something like this, what are you keying in on? Because it's such a big area. Do you start stepping off the levels? Do you look for that slack in the current because of some obstruction or?
So depends on what I'm going to target in the time of year. All those, this comes into where we say the maps are helpful, but you still got to know what's then, when, and where. So let's just say blackfin tuna. This is a very popular spot for blackfins. If I'm doing blackfins, I'm starting on the south part of that, the bottom of that, and coming up to it because your natural flow of current is going to bring bait that way. It's going to hit that ledge and float it up. So I'm going to troll heading into it. Most times when I'm catching my blackfin, they're either right as I'm hitting that edge or right till I get to the top. I get a little bit on the sides, where their current moves, but as I get off the top and I start getting further on there, my bait my drop, or my catches, I should say, go dramatically down. Now, if I'm doing wahoo, I'm going to burn the edge of that because those wahoo are going to run that ledge. So I'm going to run that edge and I'm going to speed troll down the side of that. Snapper, you're going to get right in front. So if your current's bottom to up, in this case, south to north, I'm going to anchor off a little bit and I'm going to chum. You don't want to anchor right on the ledge. You want to get ahead of it. So when you chum, your chum is flowing into that spot where that fish lives and he comes out to you, and then you can turn around and actually catch the fish. I feel like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm going to put him down here. I need a beer. So the current will actually flow up onto that. And, with your chum going into it, then your bait's going to come out of it. So a lot of it is all, what do you want to catch based on that time of year? But you really need to think about what is the current doing, what is the bait doing, and what is that natural presentation and how the fish are reacting to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then last one, this one kind of shows a little bit of everything. This is actually off of West Palm. So when you look at it higher zoom, this gives you an idea of, okay, where do I want to start? I've never been to West Palm. Where the hell do I go? So there's your black magic marker lines. So on your black magic marker lines, you're looking at that. That again is tight contours where those fish are you're gonna have bait there, your structure there. That's going to be your snapper. That's going to be your kingfish. If it's offshore where you just went there, Andrew, that's going to be your wahoo, your trolling lanes. So this kind of says, okay, what's where? Now, if you look where the two lines, there's that little space. That's where a lot of current is going to come through. So if I'm trolling and there's an outgoing tide, even though it's deeper water, there's going to be a little more current pushing off the edges of that. You've got that steep drop of a ledge, but that's almost like a drain right there. The contours fall in, and you can almost see there's a little circle down there if you were to zoom in, which we can't right now on that screenshot, but you'll see, all right, there we go. So there's a little circle down there. It's almost draining in when you look between the two lines. So you've got current movement there, flushing stuff out at outgoing. And then to the left, you've got all those little bumps and knobs and hills and all that kind of stuff there is where your snapper. That's just a mess. And that's where your bottom fish are going to be, especially with current moving. So when you zoom out first, you can get a better idea of, okay, what do I want to start with? Your more major points are going to show first. Then you can zoom in and kind of really dial in exactly where you want to go. Because if you sit there zoomed in all the way, you look at that, it's like, okay, I can see there's a ledge, but you can't see everything. Start out and then zoom in based on what you see and decipher exactly what you've got.
Yeah, I'm like in that minefield off to the left, all those little things, because that to me, it seems like that's so predictable. Everybody's going to go to the predictable. I'm like that, like to get off on my own thing and find that little treasure.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some off to the right.
Yeah. I like that one down on the bottom about where the cursor was there a minute ago.
Yeah, right down there at the little red ones. There you go.
Right there to the right.
Now, what are these red ones?
Now, those are actually we can't zoom in further, see what it is, but that's part of a fish haven. So where Dave thinks he's actually going to be secretive, there'll probably be 50 boats there.
No, right up north of it, just north of it to the right.
Sure.
The one that looks like a set of nuts.
You would.
Yeah, Dave would go right for the set of nuts.
For the sack.
Going for the sack, bud. I'm trying to get the sack, man.
That's what you meant. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm going to catch the sack, bro.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, we'll go with that.
Dave.
No, that's awesome.
So that's just kind of a little bit about, where to start and some of how the technology works and how you use it when you're looking at charts and you've got your new machine. How do I turn it on? Where do I go? What are the basics? Right. And then when I find it, how do I dial stuff in? And that's just high level. And as you do more of it, it all kind of folds together.
So real quick, because I know that, a lot of people, when they use, the guys that aren't as advanced to say as you, get on their units and everything. They're all about looking for how many fish come across their screen. And I try to, educate people and say, hey, look, your gain is very important because, you need to clear things up. If you're hunting a certain species, you don't want to turn the gain up to where you're seeing bait fish and thinking that, well, I'm not seeing fish come across my screen. I need to turn my gain up. Oh, there they are. I've just been missing them. It kind of defeats the purpose. But just for our viewers, like a normal setup for Paul Mickley, your gain and stuff like that. I mean, what is your standard? I mean, do you go 50 right down the middle, or do you back it off some and target certain things? Or
well, so first we'll talk to Joe. And Joe, you've got to take it off demo mode. That's first. Okay, there's not any fish there. Okay. Take it off of demo.
I've been running demo this whole time.
I know. That's why you're not catching it. I told Dave to educate you on this, but so take it off of demo. That's number one. Okay. Step one. Then as far as, Dave, and that's a tough question to answer because you've got the down imaging, you've got standard sonar, and then you have chirp.
Yeah.
And chirp really can change the game where I can be offshore now and actually look at something, go, oh, that's a shark. Oh, that's a kingfish. I mean, I've been seeing it enough that now I can kind of understand what's there just based on that chirp imaging. And the separation of it when you look at a bait pod versus a fish running through it is incredible. So that's chirp, you really got it. It's very unique to your boat because chirp, if you get any air under that deucer, you'll lose bottom in a heartbeat. So you really got to kind of tune your boat to how fast you can go. Then you play with your gain a little bit on, okay, can I go a little higher? Can I go a little lower based on your speed? So you really got to play with it on your boat to see what works best. Then when you're stopped, get over top, and then, it's hard to say. I mean, if I'm bottom fishing, I like a lot of gain, and I'll put the little, the autoscope on the bottom as well, because sometimes, you're in 160 feet of water. That rock that looks only, a quarter inch on your screen could actually be a 3-foot rock, but you don't know until you're actually zoomed in. Now, bear in mind that's on a calm water day. You're in 3-foot seas. That ain't going to do you a bit of good, because it's just going to bounce off the bottom. It's not going to be accurate. So I like to, depending on what I'm doing. Now, if I'm doing, if I'm trolling and I'm looking for bottom at the same time, I keep my gain pretty low, because I'm not as interested as the fish that are there as I am the bottom.
Okay.
And the same holds true for, where you have it set. If you're at 80 or if you're at 130, the lower setting you have on there on your hertz, you've got a wider beam. So a lot of guys that are going deeper in the water column, deep dropping in that, are using that lower frequency because it's giving a wider beam, and you don't need to zero it down as far. And you're shallow.
That was my next question. Yeah. Are you doing like a 2D? Are you doing like a 50 megahertz, kilohertz, whatever it is?
50 or 80, 81 there. I mean, it's So, or 150. I mean, yes, depending on what I'm doing, yes, I will split screen it. A lot of times I just leave it on one, because unless I'm deep dropping, which truth I don't do a lot of, I generally leave it on pretty high, because I am looking for specific stuff down there. And again, if I go deeper, I'll turn it a little higher depending on what I want to do. But you don't need to go ultra high. When you go ultra high, you get, and I don't know what number it is. I have to actually look on it. I've been running pretty close to the same gain most of the time, because I've been trying to get out bottom fishing. The wind hasn't let me. But if I go too high gain, now you're marking you're marking too many weeds down there. Then you might be marking the thermocline, which I'm not really interested in. Then that's making everything get all, looks all fuzzy. So you really need to tune it down to, where there's not a lot of fuzz and you can see actually the fish. So it really depends on the boat and what your speed is, what your water clarity is, how deep you're going. There's no real good solid answer. And again, is it chirp or is it down imaging? Down imaging, I like as little gain as possible, because that will show everything. I like to keep that kind of low. Yeah. But on regular sonar, I'll go a little higher. Yeah. I know that's not a great answer, but bottom line.
No, it's very educational. It helps.
Well, guys for me,
they don't know a difference in a 50 or 83, or a 200, I mean, a 50 to 200 or 83 to 200 or 240. You know what I mean? They don't know
exactly. That. Yeah, you're doing 240. Yeah. You're going 80 foot. And you're going, as narrow as you can to what's right under your boat, because you really want to dial that in. Where you do that in 500 feet, that beam is so narrow, you're not seeing what's all the way out here. You want as wide as you can. The deeper you go.
Yeah,
I think the shallower you go, the higher the number, the deeper the lower.
Yep, correct.
So really, it comes down to knowing your boat, knowing what you're capable of,
and what you're doing. I think you gave a realist answer.
Yeah, you almost need to study for every possible scenario just so you know.
Yeah, play with it. I mean, it's just like radar. You want to look for birds, don't throw your radar on when there's no birds. You go, let me see if I can find one. Put it on when there's a flock of birds in front of you. Throw your radar on and goes, that's what birds look like. Now Now you're out there and you see 2 birds. Oh, that's 2 birds. I remember because I marked, 15 pelicans flying over my head earlier, or one frigate. Don't put it on when there's nothing around. You're going to get frustrated. Wait until you see a few birds, then dial it in, then play with your gain. A lot of them now you can just hit bird mode and it goes. If you have an old one, you got to play with the gain a lot, and your sea clutter. I think it's your gain, I think, is all the way up. Your sea clutter is off, if I remember right. And then that'll really kind of dial you in on what you want to look for.
Interesting.
You got to play. You got to get out there and you got to mess with it. But, you're not really going to break anything. Just pick little things and start with that based on what you're doing. Don't try to know everything all at once, because you will confuse the hell out of yourself. Right. I mean, just like Joe, look at him. He's just staring at you.
Yeah,
I am. I'm so lost right now. But all them damn spots look good. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a few of them on there. I was like, I could see myself spending some time down in that
area. Finding the nuts, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Go to catch that sack.
Looking for the sacks.
If we weren't on, I'll just keep my mouth shut. I'll let it rock.
It could go south.
No slippery frogs, please.
No. Inside joke, everybody. We won't elaborate.
Yeah.
We won't elaborate my lures.
So, I mean, I'm gonna take some time and take everything in. I'll probably have some questions for you because I genuinely want to learn more about the electronics side for the purpose of actually getting out there and doing it. I don't have a boat yet. B, I don't have any electronics. So it's a while, but the more I can study before I get to that situation, probably the better off I'll be.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and it'll change by the time you get a boat.
Yeah,
it'll change.
Oh yeah, the electronics are changing all the time. So yeah, as soon as you got it figured out, there'll be something else.
Yeah, that's why I'll use an older unit. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, that's why it blew my mind. You know, on the Navionics the other night it was unbelievable what you can do on that thing today compared to, like, I have an 08 unit. So
I mean, that was Navico. Don't get that confused with Navionics.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you mean Navico or Lorraine.
Navico. I'm sorry, Navico. Navico. I'm sorry. Navico.
Yeah, no, I made that mistake. I got
but
that right.
No, it's so crazy the things you can do with it, man. And like he was saying, with the way that the head on the trolling motor is, you take it and turn it slow, and you're scanning all the way around the boat with the head of the trolling motor. And I'm like, come on, man. It's like your own spyglass, you know, looking around
down
through the hydrilla, not just to the hydrilla, through the hydrilla, if there's anything in it. And I was just like, good Lord.
Find the little openings in the weeds where you've got your little roads that you can't see. And it's
watch how the fish are reacting to your bait. So, you know, if you need to snap it out of the grass or just rip it by them.
Slow it down or leave it in there and let it soak. Yeah.
It's like watching a video game. So, Andrew, you should start with that. Stay home, play some video games.
No,
action game. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to start a chiropractor business, man, for your neck, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously. Ain't one of them that's lifted their head up.
No.
I fished around 40 boats 2 weeks ago. 40 boats out in this hydrilla. And I did not see the first one look up. Well, I couldn't tell you what kind of glasses he had on his face.
Andrew, you got nothing to do. When you're at home, why don't you take a PVC pipe and make a plotter mount that comes out that stands up to 5 feet tall? Or in your case, 3 feet tall. That way you're looking right at it.
I'm good with that. I'm good. Hey, whatever makes the money, right?
Exactly. Then you don't have to look down anymore. I mean, you're going to ruin Dave's chiropractic business, but at least it's in front of you. So you can watch and cast and see, there's my lure.
Yeah. Why don't we just allow everybody just to sit in the seat on the boat? They don't have to leave the driver's seat. Just put on virtual reality glasses.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Well, pretty soon they're like electric wheels. Cast there. Beep. You go to fish.
Right? No, I was on Harris Chain in March for the Toyota series, and literally there was a photo taken of it too, but there was 30 to 40 people in one area. Not one of them had their head up. They were all like this, just casting reel and looking down. I was like, I didn't know what they were doing at first. And then somebody said, oh, they're just looking. I was like, what do you mean looking? Like, you look up? No, they're looking. They're watching. I was like, it's confusing.
You don't want a sponsorship on the front of the jerseys anymore. You want it across the front of the hat or the back of the jersey.
Right here.
Yeah, on the top now.
Yeah. You don't want it on the front of the jerseys anymore.
Sadly, that might be something we need to coin.
Yeah,
it's true. That's true. Put it right there. It's perfect.
That's hilarious.
No,
or a tall ass collar, just a giant collar.
Hey, you need a tall ass collar to begin with.
Oh, shut up! I know you ain't talking, man.
Wow, yeah, CD just sat up right there,
dude. It looks like that water bottle, top of that water bottle, man. Look at that thing.
E.T.
Hey, doesn't he look like a South Park character?
Yeah, I was trying to think of which one. It wasn't quite coming to me. Like, it's definitely one.
We landed on somebody.
Straight for us.
We landed on one. I can't remember who the hell it was, but
I'll
never shave again, Paul. Just out. I learned my lesson with Dave.
Hey, I told him to put one of those.
I'm gonna think of it later. I'm going, damn, that's what it is, because you're like a really long neck. That sits there.
I was like that whole show. I was like adjusting, like trying to.
What was it, like Street Fighter or something like that, with that dude with?
Yeah. What was his name? Demal or something.
I was thinking more like Go Gadget Neck.
Snapper
Turtle.
Oh, Carlos, I hate you, man.
Oh no, wait! It's what's the dude on SpongeBob? Is it Squidward? That's kind of like that.
Squidward. Oh. No.
No, look.
Oh man.
Isn't that who it is? It's
Joe's like, can we end this show now?
Is Brian? No. Hold on. Is Brian Scafey still with us? If he is, he's already coined me Squidward like 7 years ago, dude.
Oh yes.
Yes. So it's official. Brian Scafey, if you're still viewing this, I look like Squidward. Okay.
He shaved, dude. He shaved.
Dude, I had a
was
sick
like,
beard.
damn, dude, look at your neck, man. And I told him, I said he needed to get one of those orange life vests to wear, and then put a shirt over it so it at least looked like he had a neck.
Yep, there's Brian. Yep, he's verified Squidward. I found it. I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna think of it before this ends.
That's hilarious, Dave. My next jersey, I need a turtleneck, bud. This guy,
God.
need like a 4-inch, 5-inch collar.
I want to see the boat wrap with right down the side. That's what I want to see.
That's awesome.
Oh man,
Paul.
Squidward and SpongeBob.
Oh, man.
Or no, who's the pink guy? You can wear the pink one. Andrew, you know all these people on SpongeBob. Who's the pink one?
Oh, yeah, Andrew's totally Patrick.
It's Patrick.
Okay, we need to change this topic. It's going to really bad.
No, this is exactly what we wanted. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm crying.
Well, thanks for joining, everybody.
Exactly. Welcome to the crap show. This is where we've ended up. We thought we'd actually start off this way, but we actually did some educational pieces.
Dude, it was serious for so long, and then bam.
It was. It was.
We held it together longer than I thought it was.
It's like our shows we go do. We were so serious from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock, but boy, after 6 o'clock, wash out.
What are you talking about? From 11 o'clock on, Paul's fishing for people in the aisle.
Exactly. Well, Andrew only saw that because he got to the show at 10:50.
Yeah, because I was out and saving Nashville at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Sushi with a stranger up at 3:30.
You were out saving Nashville from the Tylenol epidemic. You needed to help them remove some of that from the shelf.
Wow.
That and Goodies powder, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
This segment sponsored by Goodies.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
I'm glad you didn't find that photo.
The Goodies? Oh, the one from there? Oh God, yeah. No, I wouldn't do that one to you. Andrew's smash was enough.
Yeah, I got that one. I wasn't going to do that either, but boy, I've threatened him a couple times.
Man, what a time to be alive. Well, Paul, I appreciate you coming on. You know, it's always a pleasure, and I mean, there's a possibility I may see you tomorrow night. I don't know.
Yeah, let me know. I'll be up that way.
Yeah, always a good time, man. I love you, brother. We're going to get out there and get after it, do some fishing. Sure. I've got some time coming up here at the end of this month, man. I'll be freed up until October after that. So,
no, let's do it. Let's do it. And we'll leave Joe on demo mode, so he'll get stuck somewhere while we actually catch fish.
Keep me there.
Joe, I'll go with you so you can at least catch the biggest fish of us.
Now, do I need to take off the big white Lowrance screen thing? Or
no.
Leave that there. Okay.
Hey, you didn't leave that there. Oh, you didn't hear about the trip over to Osceola Outback, right?
As far as?
So, with all that being said,
I didn't do that, Dave. That was not me. But I need to watch myself with these guys.
You've been there. You've been there, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody caught fish, but Andrew.
Really?
I did hook one.
He's a worse fisherman than me, for sure.
I got very humbled.
How did you not catch a fish there?
That's what I said.
Oh,
I mean, there's 5,000 fish that eat dog food.
Listen, we weren't throwing dog food, okay?
I
watched no armed man catch a barramundi out of that pond.
I would pay to see
Actually,
that.
I didn't, but he probably would.
I would like to see that.
So
I can show you a 2-armed man catch nothing.
He started it. We get there and he goes, first bass. And I look at him. I'm like, you really want to do this?
No. Okay. Hold on. Listen, this is how it happened. Okay.
Oh, he's got you on mute. This is good.
This is how it happened. Hands up. It's not me.
Basically, he decided he wanted to go for bass first. He spent like 30 minutes watching one of the guides there, Mike.
Not for the bass. Not for the bass. The barramundi.
No, for the barramundi. Because we fished for barramundi for a while. We couldn't get bit. Neither one of us.
30 minutes.
I can't see how.
He stands over there and he's like just like shadowing this guy, right? Cuddling up next to him and saying, "Hey, why don't you let me know what the good is, because I need to know."
No.
Well, next thing you know, he's figuring everything out. He's got the whole game plan. He comes over, watch this. First cast, twitch, boom. And I'm like, what? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you throwing? I didn't have any of that stuff. I wouldn't tell him. No, you were throwing exactly what I was throwing. You're throwing exactly what I was throwing. I stood over by the guy and I watched what he was doing to get these fish to react. And then they thought, okay, I'll go and put the sea shad or the bass assassin shad assassin on, and went to work. And I figured it out watching this guy do it. And I told Tyler caught fish, and Andrew's standing there. He's like, dude, what do you keep doing? And we're sitting there catching him right. He's standing right in the middle of us. I'm watching. I'm not. You know what?
I said, you love me, Andrew? And he said, nope. I said, okay, catch another fish. I said, you finally love me? And he goes, I love you, bro. I said, all right, do this. He throws out there, does it, boom, hooks up, misses the fish. Only bite he got.
Yeah.
It was
Dude, it was literally fishing in a bucket. Like
literally.
We flew the drone. There were so many fish on the other side. Like it looked literally like it was like just a cup filled with like ice cubes. Like it was just, there were so many.
Yeah,
I was amazed by that.
Even my 5-year-old nephew caught a barramundi out of there.
Yes.
5-year-old nephew.
Does he want to go?
Hold that thing.
Is that what this is? Are we throwing down?
I don't know. My money's on the 5-year-old.
I was going to say, me too. Is that where we're at, Andrew? You got to pick on little kids now?
Is this what we've dropped to? Yeah.
Well, shit. He's only 2 inches taller than him. So I mean, hell.
They ride the same huffy together.
Better vantage point. You can see them.
Yeah, exactly.
They ride the same huffies.
Oh my god!
Come on, Andrew, hop on.
Oh, this is great. Oh God, no, man, it's been a pleasure, Paul.
Yeah,
man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the invite. I am now going to enjoy my beer, as I mentioned. So I
got a hockey game and some Jack ready to go enjoy. So,
attaboy. Gentlemen, thank you. Joe, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the information, but there was some good stuff there and some awesome answers, and you made fun of Andrew and Dave, so my night is complete.
Oh, your neck's not done yet.
Oh, no.
I know. This is never going away. Now, I cannot wait for this to grow back in. You have no idea, Paul.
He was wearing one of those freaking the orange life vests.
Oh, yeah, the other day.
It looked like one of those neck pillows you wear on the plane.
I look like freaking Dave.
Nice. Just pretend you hurt your neck for a while and wear one of those braces. You'll be. Oh wait, they don't make them that big.
Hey, Paul, you missed out when he said he looked like Dave.
Look like Dave. Look like Dave tonight.
All right. Well, hopefully I help people. We've been dragging on. I'll get off too. I want to go eat and drink my beer.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, I'll catch up.
Take care, bud.
Thanks, Paul.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you.
See you.
The best, dude. My face hurts. I'm like done, dude.
I just wanted to see the hair again.
Oh man,
dude, I was totally gonna hit it. I was gonna hit it like 4 seconds after that.
Oh,
all right, guys, we will see you all next week, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff launching tomorrow. Fishing reports from guides all over the state. We've got a handful coming out. We've got local anglers June issue coming out tomorrow. Whole bunch of stuff. So
get on nextfish.co. Nextfish.co. Get on our website. Check out the fishing reports. Check out the new June magazine coming out. So get on there, get everything figured out. You guys need some help with something. Great guys, great tackle shops. Reach out to the guides. You want to go do a fishing trip. Get on nextfish.co. You'll get all your information off there and check it out.
Yeah, good stuff from the fishing guides coming up, guys. Some of them are on the water, so they're going to let you know everything you need. And if you don't know what you need or where to go, you reach out to them guys, but they're going to get you on for sure.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome setup. I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it, to be honest. All right. Well, that's it.
Tuesday.
Till Tuesday.
Peace.